the council and the school board on July 30th authorized the issuance of the RFP for new or renovated school facilities at the George Mason High School campus, as well as commercial redevelopment and placemaking and economic development on that site as well. And so I wanted to just take the opportunity. We're on the verge on October 30th. We were poised to receive the initial conceptual proposals that are in response to that RFP, and wanted to talk with the council and with the public, just so we're remind ourselves of the process that we discussed extensively through the spring and summer months about what will happen next once those proposals come in. And even before talking about what our next steps are, to back up a little bit and just talk about more broadly of why, amongst the options that we considered, we chose to proceed under the Virginia PPEA process, the Public-Private Education Facilities and Infrastructure Act. And talk a little bit about what that means, and then tie that back directly into the project and what we'll be doing next. But the PPEA was first adopted in 1995 as a way to build educational facilities through public-private partnerships in a way to try to produce better results for local governments. And in 2002, that was expanded so that local governments could use that same structure, not just to build educational facilities, but to build all types of infrastructure facilities in a local government context. And the city has a good deal of experience in doing projects under the PPEA. Essentially, every project since Mary Ellen Henderson has been procured under the Virginia Public-Private Education Facilities and Infrastructure Act. But the city has used it as well. We were an early adopter by using the PPEA to build the fire station back in 2002. And we're currently using it to consider options for the redevelopment of the Miller House property here in the city. So it's a tool that we're familiar with, that we've used, but we're all very cognizant of the fact that this is the most complex PPEA Act project in the city's history. Regionally, it's a very common tool as well. Fairfax County has used it on numerous occasions at the Reston Town Center, at the Wheelie Avenue parking structure. They have used it for school facilities for the South County High School project. And we really tap into the county and the region's experience, particularly given the complexity of this project, to really learn from them about some of the lessons that they've learned with some of these more complex projects. What we will be doing when we review the conceptual proposals that we hope to receive on October 30th is that we'll initially have a review just to make sure that the responses that come in are compliant with the RFP. We expect that will take about 10 days. Then all the information that we receive that is allowed to be made public, that's not marked confidential in the proposals, will be made public, will be posted publicly, and everybody can look at that information. And importantly, in the RFP, we require an executive summary to be part of the proposals, and that will be made public as well. We will have a meeting that is currently scheduled on November 16th with the council and the school board to have an initial review of the proposals and to talk about the evaluation criteria that we'll be using over the subsequent weeks. And then on December 8th, the council and the school board together will review all of the proposals in detail with a matrix to really evaluate and try to score them based on the quality of the proposals, the quality of the proposal team, their experience and qualification, the characteristics of their proposal, the strength of their financial plan, and other considerations that are laid out in the RFP itself. And ultimately, the decision will be made by the City Council and the School Board to shortlist the respondents and invite them to proceed with a Phase 2 detailed RFP process. We anticipate that the detailed RFPs will allow 90 days for the detailed proposals to come in, and with those we'll have more refined cost estimates, more refined conceptual plans, and more opportunities for public review ultimately of the information that comes in. The City Council and the School Board would then, if the proposals are satisfactory, proceed to arrive at the top-ranked respondent and begin negotiations towards an agreement. Those negotiations under the PPEA Act and under FOIA are typically confidential as well, and that's to both protect the competitive process so that if those negotiations don't end satisfactorily, we can go to other proposals and proceed with them, but also to protect the city's bargaining and negotiating position throughout that process. As we move towards an interim agreement, then there'll be opportunities for the public ultimately to review that agreement, and as laid out in the schedule that the council and the school board have adopted, that agreement will be fully public at the time that the council, should we get to this stage, to decide to proceed and place the matter on the ballot for the voters' review and either approval or non-approval at the election in November. And so while it is true that under the PPEA Act, there are aspects of it that, in order to protect the integrity of the process, are kept confidential. That's a process that we're familiar with in terms of prior facilities projects that we've built here in the city in the past. We do acknowledge that this is a really important project and one that has a great deal of community interest, and we will work with legal counsel to get as much information out publicly as we can without impairing the integrity of the procurement process.